Never Let Me Go is directed by Mark Romanek, and this is his directorial sophomore effort after he directed the psychological thriller 1 Hour Photo back in the early 2000s. And before that, he was really well known for music video directing, most notably a lot of stuff with Nine Inch Nails, the Closer video, etc., so on and so forth. So he definitely has an eye with a certain kind of look, and he kind of retains that here. Never Let Me Go is based upon a popular novel by Kazuo Ishiguro. That's as good as I'm going to get.
I didn't even know it was a novel. Wow.
Yeah. And it's adapted by Alex Garland, who is also a novelist, but has also written screenplays for, most notably, Danny Boyle with 28 Days Later and Sunshine. So we got kind of a pretty good pedigree here. And what the movie is about is there's these children who are being raised in a boarding school in England, and they don't really let you know what's going on right away. And as the movie progresses, you learn a little bit more about why they're there and what they're doing there. And you find out that this is actually a alternate reality future, sort of, or an alternate present, as it were, where these kids are being basically raised to become organ donors in the future, so that their lifespans are inherently short. They're only expected to live about 25 years. And the main characters are Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth, and they're played by Carey Mulligan, Andrew Garfield playing the boy Tommy, and Ruth played surprisingly well by Keira Knightley. And what they have here is sort of a love triangle between the three, because there's rumors that are circulating around that the lifespan of a donor can actually be increased if there is true love between two donors, and they'll give them sort of a few extra years to live out their happiness. So as we go through the movie, we're sort of following Carey Mulligan's character, and she sort of narrates the whole thing from her perspective. And I really, really liked this movie. I thought it was very good. It was very, very well shot, as you can expect from Romanek. And the score is very kind of melancholy. And my only real complaints with this is that it's this big sprawling story that takes place over like a 15-year period probably. And the movie itself is actually kind of short, or it feels short. That third act especially feels really rushed. Like once they go from child to teenager to adult, the third act just feels like, okay, now we really got to finish this thing. And I feel like for a movie that's this sprawling, this epic, and this tragic, I would have liked to see another 20 minutes or so, especially in that third act, to sort of develop these relationships and how their relationships changed as they get older. So that's my major complaint with the movie. Also, there are a few places where, because this is sort of a science fiction of sorts, there's a few places where there's kind of some Basil exposition where they have to get it out of the way and try to explain what's going on. But I think they do a pretty good job at minimizing that as much as possible. So I give the movie a B+.
B+. All right. I gave this one a C+. I felt like it was too English.
Too English. Okay.
It wasn't American enough. You have what they did about 3 years ago with The Island. Mm-hmm. Yeah, same kind of principle, just different. I think it might probably be based off the same book for all we know. But it's very long and drawn out. Everybody accepts their fate. They're like, oh, we're going to be harvested for our organs in 10 years. It's like, okay. They're all very okay with it, and it bothers me. Seems like I was waiting in the third act for them to be to
rebel against.
To try to get this extension, and then I just go into this big rebellion, and there'd be this awesome, some kind of dramatic fight of some sort, and nothing. Just this long, drawn-out acceptance of fate. And that really bugged me. As an American who fights everything for any reason,
You're used to rebellion.
I'm used to rebellion. I'm used to some big old drawn out fight sequences for no reason.
Yeah.
Or to be like, no, you can't take my organs. I will fight you to the death for them. And yeah, then all that happened. Just kind of like, here you go.
But this isn't Repo Man.
Well, no, it's not Repo Man. No, it's more like the Island, where some rich person paid to have a clone made of them, so that some day later they could. And then Ewan McGregor goes off and battles everybody to death and makes everybody realize that it's a terrible and horrible thing.
Well, this movie,
this is more of that. Yeah, got the artsy kind of thing, and probably a more realistic sense of life.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Situation.
I hate to admit it, but I'm pretty sure most everybody, if we started this kind of program, would just be like, yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna need a liver sometime. It's okay if these kids get raised to give me that.
Well, I think you're not alone in this opinion. Obviously, you're joking in that this is not as good as a Michael Bay movie. So I know that that's a joke. I know that that's a joke. But but no, I think this movie does throw people for a loop because you go in, you're thinking this is a drama about kids being raised in a boarding school. Something kind of along the lines of like. I don't know, an education or something like that. And then you find out there's this whole sci-fi element going on. They're like, okay, I didn't sign up for that, but cool, I'm there. And then you find out it's not even the sci-fi you thought it was going to be. And so I can see why a lot of people, it didn't really catch people like they thought it would. But I think if you strip it away and see what it is really trying to be about, it's about that idea of indoctrination, basically from a young age, that if you are told to accept something from a young age and being raised with a certain perspective, that you do kind of go on about it. Well, one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is when they go to a restaurant and they are completely awkward. They don't know how to deal with having individuality is like a completely foreign concept to them. So I think there's a lot of interesting questions raised in it. I just think that it could have pushed a little bit further. It could have pushed some of those themes and ideas and milk them a little bit more than they do. It kind of feels like it just kind of grazes over the story.
Big Benjamin Button thing.
Yeah.